From After Dark World Headquarters, this is your host, KD, for Mr. and Ms. America and all ships at sea and all sods everywhere. Let's get ready to have some After Dark! I think I will. A rainy Thursday, November 4th, I might add. I wanted to have more story time. So here we go. From the infamous Pissing in the Snow by Vance Randolph, this story is called The Romping Party. Told by J.L. Russell, Harrison, Arkansas, April 1950. He had heard it from some boys near Berryville, Arkansas in the early 1890s. One time, the old folks were called away unexpectedly, and their 3 daughters were all alone in the house. So they got 2 of the neighbor girls to stay all night with them. After supper, they played games a while. Then they just sat around talking about boys. Finally, the biggest girl blowed out the lights and said, "This is our chance to have a romping party." The girls all stripped off naked, and then they got to playing with bananas. It wasn't no real bananas, but they were just wax imitations out of the big glass dish in the parlor. My grandmother had some just like that. Country girls always get kind of noisy when they are a-romping in the dark, and the neighbor boys sneaked up to see what was going on. When he found out how things was, the fella just took off his clothes and slipped in amongst the girls. Then he grabbed the biggest one. I don't know the interpretation of the biggest one, what that means. And gave her a real fucking. She squealed and farted like a mare, and then she just laid still a while. The boy sneaked out the door again, and nobody knowed he'd been there at all. The biggest girl was still a-breathing hard, but pretty soon she began to holler, "Mamie," she said, "come back here with that good banana." Poor Mamie and the others done the best they could, but the biggest girl kept a-grumbling as she claimed somebody is holding out on her. There was considerable talk about it, with everybody getting mad, so the neighbor girls just put on their clothes and went home. Along about fodder pulling time, the biggest girl married one of those spindle-ass Pritchett boys. Those spindle-ass Pritchett boys. And they moved into town. She never took no interest in romping parties after that. Her mother-in-law said such things are foolish and maybe sinful besides. The legend, the book, Mr. Vance Randolph, Pissing in the Snow. There's several things I want to show you. I don't know how exactly this happened, but during my teaching career, one of my fellow teachers come by and gave me a trophy out of the blue. And it looks like a debate trophy. But on it, it says KD Scruggs, Sportsman and Teacher of the Year 2016. I didn't have any trophies, so I was very happy to get this. So, of course, my friend presented it to me in front of all the little children. And they says, Mr. Scruggs, you're a Sportsman of the Year. You don't coach sports. You know what I said to that, right? You know what I said to that. What's that got to do with anything? So after that, the kids got into the act, and I got several others. The scrawl on this one is so bad, I'm going to have to put on my readers just to read it to you. Okay, what it says is, for hitting the ball... Let me try this again. For hitting the ball out of the park with grooviness. I can't help but laugh. And the last one... Now, this is one of my girls that were in those little dance troops. She gave me one of her dance trophies, and she put at the bottom, All-Time Groovy Award presented to KD on January 17th, 2017. Check that out. So I don't have any real trophies. You know why? Because I'm not worried about real trophies. I got a claim from the motherfucking public. And that's all I care about. One last thing. My father, he's been gone now since 2001, but he had a great dog named Jake who would howl at fire whistles all the time. A tornado, anything with a siren, Jake would lose his mind. So Dad somehow got a hold of a siren to entertain people when he wanted to see Jake howl. Well, Jake's gone, Dad's gone. I've got the siren now, but I want to show you how great this siren is. It's loud. Let me hold this contraption up. Dad mounted it on a piece of wood. You see this? So I'm going to plug this up and let you hear a minute of it because it is unbelievable. Get the firehouse! Woo woo, yeah! Dun 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 dun. Let's get shit done today. Remember, discipline equals freedom. Do good, and I'll see you soon.